So Kage is the sickest. He's a really fun Shoto. Probably, in my opinion, he's the most fun Shoto to play. But anyway, so let's get into it. On the whole, covering his buttons, standing light, he 3-framer with crouching jab. Standing light punch has really good range, and it's very plus on hit and on block. +4 on hit, +3 on block. It has a lot of active frames. This is a good normal. Creates a frame trap with Fireball. Fireball's only -3. His Fireball is like not good for anything outside of like close range stuff or nullifying projectiles. But anyway, so yeah, he has a lot of good options. His neutral, he has really good fast recovering normals that beat out other normals and buffer into stuff. So this will buffer into like standing heavy kick Tatsu all day. A lot of his other normals just have good priority and will buffer into stuff from really long range. He doesn't have a normal fireball game, but his red fireballs are pretty good on the whole. Mostly this character is like a good up close in pressure. He has a billion different ways to pressure the opponent and harass from around this range. But anyway, so yeah. Standing medium punch, good range. His longest range medium that you can cancel is crouching medium kick. You can hit confirm it or, confirm that the opponent's standing into combos. If you late confirm it, it won't go into medium Tatsu, so you gotta late confirm it into light Tatsu. You can safely do it into Fireball. Fireball links from like all of his cancelable normals all the time. Yeah, crouching jab, pretty good. All of his other lights are like, whatever. Everything except for stand jab is like only +1 on block. So like, they're mainly just for linking stuff together. But yeah, his stand jab and his crouch jab are pretty good. His standing light kick also is a clean combo into his fireball. So that is handy. His jumping lights are actually kind of nothing to write home about. Anyway, so his mediums, crouching medium punch, a really good combo button. If you like to do frame trap sequences, it's +3 on block, just like his standing light punch. His most plus normals. It links into stuff really well. One thing it doesn't link into really well is EX Fireball at range. It does at point blank, or pretty close, but not at range. So and it also doesn't link into like red Fireball at range. So at those ranges you would have to like cancel it into Fireball, or on counter hits like go into his crouching hard kick sweep, which is probably his longest range counter hit confirm. That's not a crush counter. So yeah, this button is really good. It creates frame traps with his like red fireballs, so you can harass with that. I wouldn't say that he can like hit confirm literally everything he does into a knockdown, but he can cancel stuff into pretty safe options a lot of the time that are safe and can catch counter hits and just will knock down on the whole. So he can do a lot of safe pressure that's not necessarily confirming into a knockdown, but yeah, he's got a lot of up-close options. Standing medium punch has good range, is pretty fast. So this is 5 frames, this is 6 frames, I think. This is 7 frames, I think. This is 6 frames. And so yeah, he's got really fast normals. They're stubby, but that doesn't really matter in this game, especially like if they recover really fast and they're really good for buffers, and he has a bunch of options that beat out other characters' options. And he can beat other characters' options and footsies. Like, having stubby normals doesn't matter. People said Akuma had stubby normals and was trash in footsies when Akuma first came out, too. So yes, he has a really good low that he can confirm into a combo or a knockdown or, whatever you want. So it's his footsies game and his buttons are really, really good in my opinion. I have never been let down by his buttons. Standing medium punch is -1 on block, but under certain setups, you can do, like, say, you can create a double meaty against characters with 4-framers by doing, like, say, a light Tatsu and then dashing twice. Anytime where you're +7 on the opponent's back recover, you can get a meaty standing medium punch, which you can link into a bunch of stuff. So that will cover both knockdowns, and it will make it +1 on block. This, other than that, it has a little bit of trouble frame trapping people. Because all the options that it can cancel into won't quite create frame traps, or are just true block strings. The exceptions being, so you can do that, but that's not necessarily safe on block. It's -4. But you can do, if you do it straight into the Hadoken, that's a true block string. You want to late cancel it into the Hadoken to create a frame trap. And then that, if it gets a counter hit, will be +4. Which you can't necessarily cancel because his lights are also very stubby. But when it's not that great, but if you do catch a counter hit with the Hadoken, you can usually go straight into super, which is his longest range 4-frame confirm. A better, like, say, frame trap game would be off of, like, crouching medium punch, which can, like, trade with 3-framers in a lot of situations where you're canceling it into fairly safe options, and his trades are just, like, amazing. But yeah, I would say he's best when he's, like, right here and he's harassing with a number of options, like a lot of his pokes that like, safely lead into Hadoken and leave him at that awkward range. You know how, like, Laura standing medium kick was a huge problem when it was, like, 5-frame startup in Season 2, and you know, the reason for that was because it's a normal that has pushback, because all normals push back on block, but it also moves her forward, so every time she does it, it makes it very awkward to tell what range she's at, and she can continue to harass it because she moves backwards but also forwards, and it's really fast, even though it was -2 on block. Same thing with forward heavy punch. Forward heavy punch moves you forwards, recovers pretty quickly, it has crush counter priority, is pretty good to use at this range, and will leave you at that awkward range where you can continue to sort of harass with this in a lot of situations, as well as, like, mixing up between, like, say, buffering, like, standing heavy punch into, like, heavy kick Tatsu, poking in with, like, jabs, or throwing red fireballs, or doing, you know, all sorts of stuff that's really good with this character in this space, where it's very awkward to punish or interrupt a lot of his game. Because, say, like, look at this, like, so anyways, yeah, Akuma got the same buff too, but red fireballs are now pretty good for doing this awkward spacing, especially if you're, like, doing something that's negative but leaves you at an awkward range, like his fireball, or his forward hard punch, or a lot of his just frame trap stuff. If you leave yourself at this awkward range where your opponent's buttons will probably whiff if they're just sort of trying to swing and estimate the range, red fireballs don't move your hurt box forward, so they really often cause, like, the opponent's attacks to whiff, and then you get a knockdown due to the red fireball. So, you know, harassing with this range, with this move, with a lot of his buttons, with his buffers, and his red fireball, as well as his regular fireball, which also has a similar property because his regular fireball is really good in close range, and as does his EX fireball, which gets a crumple on hit. So this is me doing regular fireball afterwards, after a blocked forward hard punch. EX fireball. Now red, this is, yeah, and now red fireball. See? pulls back your hurt box, makes the moves whiff, and then you get a knockdown. So staying at this awkward range and continuing to harass with moves that keep you at this awkward range is really, really good in my opinion. And also, of course, his standing medium kick, which is another really good long-range poke that will also just continue to harass and keep him at that awkward range. And if he's in trigger 1, you can get that into a knockdown as well, since you can cancel all those normals into his V-skill. So yeah, I think this character has pretty good jump-ins, honestly. Not jumping lights. His jumping lights kind of suck, but he has like a jumping medium punch. He has an air fireball, which is really tempting to use a lot of the time, but it doesn't do too much outside of when you know what it's going to do. If there's one buff that I wish he had, it would be that this was a true frame trap into Shakunetsu. In terms of his pressure, it feels like a really good, a really strong poke that you would be able to do this and then not get interrupted in it on block. But that might also be too strong, because this will like combo on hit and get a knockdown, and you can just harass with this, like a safe poke into a knockdown. It'd be pretty ridiculous. Then we have his heavies. His standing heavy is real fast, and it recovers super fast. It works really well as a buffer. It also is a good combo extender. Since it's so fast, it links off of like medium punch. Ugh. So yeah, this is really good. And a lot of his things can sort of... his heavy kick, there's nothing that really goes into his plus on block heavy kick, unless you get like a meaty. There's nothing that really creates a true frame trap into his +3 heavy kick, axe kick. It's just something that you have to do sometimes. Just another option for when the opponent's respecting you, and you're like, say, Shakunetsu options, or your awkward range with forward hard punch that gets a crush counter. Or, you know, anything else that you might be doing. You have that you can do into a frame trap. You can occasionally just cancel moves or do it raw. It does have pretty decent range. Crouching heavy punch, really good anti-air, really good cancel. Goes into his X kick stuff. Yeah, I already talked about that. Roundhouse is really good. Not quite as good as, like, say, Sagat's, although Sagat's might be less rewarding in certain circumstances, but it doesn't whiff for very long. This is a really good, even though it can be crouched, really good move that can just catch options, catch like the extended hurt box of fireball startup, catch all sorts of stuff. The opponent moving forward, the opponent jumping. Good crush counter, you can get an easy dash up confirm afterwards. So yes, this is a real good crush counter. This light kick, axe kick, can be used. It's not as good, and it's -4 on block, but it can be used in certain situations where to confirm off of certain things, like crouching medium kick doesn't go into the medium one. So if you don't want to necessarily commit to doing like a full Tatsu, but you think it's going to hit, a safer option is probably to go for that, and that leaves you a bit closer than just doing the fireball, because this one actually moves you forward. Even though it's not like a huge advantage, and it'd be better if you could hit confirm it into Tatsu. And then crouching hard kick is okay. I think it's decent. It's your longest range, like knockdown, counter hit confirm. Is crouching medium punch, counter hit into the sweep. You can also do it into like heavy uppercut, but sweep hits from slightly farther away and is less risky. Alrighty, then we have his forward hard punch, which is amazing. It is -4, so you want to like practice, make sure you're getting the range, or at least keeping it awkward. It has great priority, it recovers really well. You can hit confirm it on hit. You definitely want to practice, because if you hit confirm it without it being a crush counter and they're crouching, the follow-up will whiff. But yeah, you can hit confirm this. It'll get a crush counter, and it's very easy to hit confirm that. In the corner, you can follow it up with some stuff. You know, you can do some stuff with it and trigger. All sorts of good stuff. Alrighty, as for special, I already talked about that. And his Shakunetsu's, even though he's not a fireball character, he still has a fireball, which is pretty good. He has a really good red fireball. And allows him to compete with and shut down other characters' fireball games, so he doesn't really... He has a lot of good options, and he doesn't really have that much trouble getting in my opinion. His V-skill is also a handy neutral tool. Armor's one hit, and it goes really far. You can charge it to keep it safe. He has an overhead, which is really good. Under certain circumstances, you can set it up as a meaty. And you can combo off it for free. You can literally just combo off this cleanly if you hit it meaty, which is amazing. It's -7 on block, but it becomes better if you do it as a meaty. You can combo off of it on counter hit as well. So that's a pretty good overhead. So yes, those are the majority of Kage's options. After that, you have like combos, so you can do crouching medium punch at close range is the best confirm. You have a variety of different routes you can do. So like say you do that into the axe kick, and then you do crouching medium punch afterwards, because it's the 5-frame option you can do to link afterwards. You're not going to be able to link into the EX fireball. So you have to do the EX Tatsu routes. EX Fireball is a really good option if you get a trade or if you just hit at an awkward range. Easy conversions you get off of that. EX Fireball or EX Red Fireball can easily create like frame traps off of standing hard punch. It's +6, which makes it really good, especially in the corner. Unlike Akuma's, you can combo off this cleanly with just his uppercuts, so you can do like really buff combos with that. So yeah, his frame trap game is pretty solid, but like I said, most of the time you're probably going to be keeping an awkward range. You're not. And or if you have frame traps, you know, you have simple ones like that, or ones that are easy to counter hit confirm. And you can hit confirm most of his other, like his heavy kick. If that lands, you can link that into some stuff. His overhead, his EX overhead is -8 on block, but you do have that option as well to open the opponents up. No matter what range you're at, if you can land, if you can reach with a light, you can create a real frame trap with the fireball, and that'll catch counter hits. Then you also have, you know, that's probably what you would be like your default block string, or something like that, or that, you know. As for his conversions, all of his lights, even on crouching, go into the light Tatsu, which you can basically just do into, leave it by itself because it's a great knockdown, or you can do into light uppercut, which is an okay knockdown. The heavier your uppercut is, the worse the knockdown's going to be. So even if you get like the heavy Tatsu, If you want to keep up pressure, either leave it at the heavy tatsu or just do the light uppercut. Because if you do the heavy uppercut, your frame advantage is going to be worse. You won't get a free dash up afterwards. And the medium uppercut really doesn't work very well for combos. It's just an anti-air for the most part. See? Even the light one reaches from there, but not the medium one. You can also create double meaties with like red fireball. Like say if you catch the opponent with a light tatsu, you can like dash up and do that, and that will cover both knockdowns. And so yeah, you know, he just has a lot of different routes he can do, especially off of like EX Tatsu, which puts them airborne. Bunch of different stuff he can do with that. Like so. Optimal stun. I haven't seen anyone else post this, so I'm going to mention this. Optimal stun output, as far as I found for like a 2-bar conversion, is really difficult to do, and I've only managed to do it a few times. I don't think it's an execution thing so much as it is, I'm not entirely sure what the trick is to getting it, but EX Tatsu, Air EX Tatsu, and then another instant air, just like regular heavy kick Tatsu. So Air EX Tatsu, that one, and then that. And I'm not entirely sure what the trick is to get that to link, but I've linked it several times before. That is optimal stun output. It does like 375 stun just by that alone. You can that will get like 350 stun, but no, the 3 Tatsus in one combo, especially if you're in trigger 2 and you can finish it with the hard knockdown afterwards, that does just a massive grip of stun, but I don't know if I'll be able to replicate it for this video. I haven't been able to do it as of recent. Got it! Got it! Okay, 375. That's super high stun. So if you were to do that, that would do close to that amount of stun, but not quite as much. But you also can't land that in as many situations, because like here, after like the heavy X kick, you can't link that EX Fireball, but you can link the EX Tatsu. His Tatsu also recovers pretty fast, which means that it can be pretty useful for some like ambiguous cross-up stuff. Alright, his throws, his forward throw is real good. Leaves him close, he's +9, he can meaty with a bunch of different stuff. He's not that far off, especially in the corner. His back throw's okay. Alright, so yeah, then we've got his triggers. So trigger 1, I think both of his triggers are really good. But I prefer his trigger 1, okay? Trigger 1 gives you these teleports, which are baller as fuck. They're really good. They go through fireballs like nothing. They avoid situations. They are very fast and hard to react to. So, alright, I tested some stuff just now. So anyways, where was I? Yeah, his teleports are really good. They're really fast. They recover really fast. He can get through fireballs. He can close distances really quickly. He can do it in the air. His backwards one in the air doesn't really go very far, which makes it better for like so you can do stuff like that with Kage has an instant cross up on standing opponents or when he's meeting the opponent when they're getting up. With instant air EX Tatsu, so he can like cross up and then teleport back to the same side and do all sorts of shenanigans. He also has a bunch of like mid-air combos you can do, like that. when you cancel an action into a teleport, it takes a lot more of the V gauge than just doing a regular teleport. And the regular teleports are not to be fucked with. These are really good as well. They're super fast, like you can get in from miles away, so they recover pretty fast. But another benefit of this trigger is that he gets like safe on block. Some characters can punish them, but he gets to do like EX fucking uppercut or any uppercut, and he can just teleport cancel it even on block. So yeah, he gets to harass and take turns when it's not his turn all over the place in this trigger. That's not the only benefit, but that's the only one anyone seems to be talking about right now. But yeah, another benefit is that, you know, you have these teleports into the opponent's face, which also helps because you can throw bait with his Tatsus, and you can also keep these Tatsus safe on block. So I don't think they're hit confirmable, but maybe you can like recognize the opponent's whiffing a throw, like you can do with a shimmy, and then like say do like dash in their face, do EX Tatsu if they whiff a throw because they try to throw tech. You can just keep it like that, and then just do some combo or something off of the EX Tatsu. Or if you see that it was blocked, you can like teleport backwards to keep it safe. You can like do that into like air fireballs. You can teleport forwards, and then if the opponent's not checking it, then you can do like an overhead low thing right there, or just take your plus frames with the jumping light. So yeah, he has options. He has a lot of options. So on the whole, there's not as much like tech, like guaranteed combos or setups or as much with this trigger, but just the utility and the number of teleports you get to use, and like how difficult they are. Even if like say you do this into the teleport, that's -10. Like that's not good in terms of frame data, but you know, just having the options available and stuff, and not like having all the other options at his disposal as well. Like I said, keeping this awkward range, you have that, you have Shakunetsus, you have pokes into fireballs, you have buffers, you have X kicks, you have overheads, you have lows, you have fireball and EX fireball that beat out normals, and then you also have all the shenanigans with that. You also have V-Steal, which armors through attacks, and you can charge to keep it safe. In V-Trigger, it gets even better. That's 0, which some characters can't challenge. You get this one that's, like, in Trigger, that's +6 on block. And then, on top of all that, having them also react to these super fast teleports as well, even if the frame data isn't very good on them, on the cancels. Like, try actually using that and using, like, the entire variety of his toolkits and how to apply pressure at this range. He's really hard to deal with, especially with the teleports. These teleports are also really awkward for the opponent to deal with. The air teleport that you can do into like cross-ups. So yeah, this character is just so much fun to play with this thing going. His rushdown abilities with this are off the charts. And then you have even more options. You can do red fireballs. At point blank, they don't seem very good. Like you can do that, that's -3. You can do that, that's -1. So you can do like the EX red fireball. You can do it and it's +3. So that's like real ass setups. Because that's a real frame trap. You can teleport to the other side. Off of this, you can do, like, say, instant cross-up. Keep the same side. Like, axe over... You know, so his ability to keep the opponent reacting to so many different things and guessing as to what he's going to do, as well as, like, his options and how much safer he can keep them when he's in this trigger, is pretty great. So then he can also, but it's not just at point blank that he can do his red fireballs and be plus on block. When he's at this range, say you do medium and you teleport, if the opponent blocks that trip up, you're fucking +2. And it's always +2. Because if you're past the range where, you know, he's allowed to cancel into it, okay, this entire range here, it'll always be +2, because that's always where he can cancel into it. And he's always right in the opponent's face. So anywhere that you can still cancel it, you're going to be +2 after that. It's so good. That one's +4, and you can still, like, do that close enough that you'll cross up, so you can keep this ambiguous crap where the opponent's not sure which side you're going to be on. You can, if you're afraid of them, like, challenging, you can, like, do, like, cross-ups into uppercut, and you can combo off that with the teleport. Oh, crap. Messed it up. So yeah, this is the trigger that I use most frequently, even though I am very well aware of how good trigger 2 is as well. This trigger is so much fun to use. And, like, if you hit the opponent with the Shakunatsus from longer range, normally, like, say you do, like, you poke in with standing medium punch, you cancel into light red fireball, and if you react to it, you can hit confirm that on combo, and then you can do the teleport and get an uppercut on the other side. Or whatever you want. So then, but if you're doing it from longer range, like you do that to get the +2 set up from like out here, you're even more plus. Because, so you can actually go for some other stuff as well, like a heavier uppercut. You know, you have just so many options at your disposal. And then when you get in the corner, it becomes even harder to block some of his like his jumping teleport stuff, because he can hit with cross-ups, but then land in the front. Or hit with cross-ups and land behind. Oh yes, of course, how can I forget? His aerial options as well. Air Fireball's like, okay, it can be used in some weird situations. On the whole, it's not that good, even if it recovers pretty fast. His Air Tatsus are fantastic. His Air Medium Punch gets really good conversions. He gets like just the most amazing air-to-airs with the EX Tatsu. And yeah, so the things that are going under the radar, his V skill is pretty good. Really good in a lot of situations, especially with the range that it has. In Trigger 1, yes, he also gets access to like that as an option that he can keep a lot of stuff safe. Or even plus, if the characters don't have 3-framers, then he can just abuse that all day. He doesn't get very many of them. I think it's more reasonable to use like the teleport stuff more often, because he gets so many teleports. But his V skill is also really good too. It's crazy like how far it hits and how good it is. He can use that to convert off of like his target combo, even if it's not a crush counter or his like medium kick. You can buffer it from almost anything. Does not work after crouching medium kick. That's important to know. So yeah, he gets that option. He can hit confirm that into a knockdown. In the corner, he gets like free follow-ups after it. And then if he just like lands the actual hit off like a meaty setup or anything, the fully charged one, he just gets ridiculous like conversions. And so yeah, his air-to-air game is really good. His medium punch and EX Tatsu. He also had his regular Tatsus are fantastic as well. They're all plus on block, like that. Heavy kick from long range. The crush counter conversions you get off of it are pretty good. So yeah, there's actually an interesting thing about like EX Tatsu in that if it hits in the air, you actually get like bonus juggles. It actually has greater juggle points than if it hits on the ground, which allows you to do a bunch of goofy shit. Like that, or do that into an uppercut. So yeah, his conversions are just really solid. And if he hits with his like air EX Tatsu from the front as well, just on the ground, it just gets a wall bounce for free. Because why not? He gets cross-up Tatsus, because of course he does. And his dive kick is really, really solid. At minimum, well, I mean, maybe it's not the case for like super tall characters, but he'll always be able to combo off of it. If the opponent's like crouching or anything like that, it's a really good dive kick, honestly. It hits at a really sharp angle. It's really easy to combo off of, especially if the opponent's like crouching or blocking the wrong way, or if you aim it, if you just aim it a little bit lower, you get amazing conversions. So yeah, at like worst it can be I think -3 on block if you like really poorly space it and the opponent's standing. But yeah, it's really easy to make plus on block as well. You unfortunately you cannot, even though you can like air fireball and air Tatsu and stuff after the air teleport, you cannot do the dive kick. But anyways, yeah, it's a really good dive kick, really easy to convert off of. And yes, that is just about it for him and like Trigger 1. He's got a bunch of, you know, combo routes and options, but most of the Trigger 1 stuff is like about the utility. So I wouldn't actually recommend like abusing his teleport combos too much unless you get like the aerial ones, which actually extend his combos by a lot. Really just save it for the utility and setups and neutral, being able to get in for like free, because I'm pretty sure that's, you know, where it shines the most. Alright, Trigger 2. Trigger 2, you can cancel off of more things. Trigger 1, you can cancel off of normals and EX moves that are not EX Uppercut. This you can cancel off of like pretty much anything. He's actually fairly safe off of like his uppercuts. Any of his regular uppercuts, you cancel into trigger even on block, -5. Not terrible. Like, look at a character like Falk's barely going to be able to punish this at all. So you get like the invincibility of some of his uppercuts. This one, -6. But the range that you can do it at is actually quite good. So like, I don't think, like take Falk for example. I don't think she can quite medium punch him right there. So yes, his ability to uppercut into trigger is really good. A lot of his options and specials really good into trigger. So like all he has to do is like one fireball, and then he's so plus that he can dash in and still be plus. Like his trigger 2 activation is ridiculous. Okay, so what Trigger 2 allows him to do is it lets him cancel literally anything. Well, except for like overhead and a few. Actually, let me see if you can cancel dive kick into it. No, you can't. Okay. So almost anything into that. Which is a hard, it like combos from anywhere. It's a hard knockdown. Another thing that you can't combo, it also OTGs. So if your opponent, like, doesn't get up, so, like, say, off of, you know, overhead axe kick, and if they don't get up, it'll OTG them as well. So, yes, this, yeah, can OTG anything, literally any hit, even, like, buffered lights from, like, full screen. Automatically get the conversion and gets a hard knockdown. This is, like, the best hard knockdown in the game as far as I'm aware. Well, okay, he doesn't have a command throw unless he has super. Then he has demon, which is a command throw. But yes, so he can do all sorts of bullshit with his knockdown. This is basically the Bardock level 3 of this game. You can get into it from anything, creates a ridiculous setup. You get all sorts of mix-ups off of it. Combo off of overhead. Oh, you can... I don't know the exact meaty setup for it, but I know that you can combo off of the instant cross-up. There, that. If you hit that normally, that's only +2. And it also whiffs on crouchers, but you can time it meaty so that it will hit the standing frames when they just get up, and so that it'll be +3 after it hits. So you can set that up. I don't know the exact frame kill for it. I've only seen it on Twitter. But yeah, you can get a overhead off of this, you can get a low, you can get a meaty, you can get a command grab, all of which combos you can get a cross up. You can do shenanigans with Tatsus. I'm not sure how ambiguous you can make it, but yeah, so. And you can just do normal pressure, you can do like regular like axe kick overhead, you can do all of his normal really strong pressure tools. You can get special meaty conversions, like doing that into that, which you can get full combos off of. That's also like a really good counter hit confirm when you're close range. And you're just dead. And you're just dead. It's also safe on block, so anything that you do that's punishable, well, except for uppercuts. You can't cancel the uppercuts into this, unlike Trigger 1. But anything that you do that's punishable, like you do fucking axe kick or whatever, okay, it's blocked, that's -8. You don't want that to get punished, so you can do that, and you can keep it -2. Not the best use of this. It's probably better to wait for safer confirms or buffers, because you only get 2 of those hard knockdowns. But yeah, not bad. Another thing is that keep in mind, if your opponent is like normal recovering or back recovering, this is not going to work off of the EX overhead, unfortunately. It's not a guarantee OTG. But what is a guaranteed OTG is off of regular ass crouching heavy kick. They cannot escape that OTG. Which means that you can use that as a confirm as well. The crouching medium punch into crouching hard kick confirm, you can still get the OTG off of that. So that is good to know. And in this trigger, you also, like I said, get Demon. His Demon is even better than Akuma's because you can combo into it. So long as the opponent's still grounded, you can just combo into it, and it's like, whatever. Shabams. So that is like basically the entirety of this trigger. Is just those options. So Demon is extremely versatile. Oh, right. Also to keep in mind, you cannot cancel V-Skill into the hard knockdown for whatever reason. You can't cancel that either. And you also can't cancel it into Demon. But anyways, yes. So you get ridiculous buffers in this. anything. This can just punish things from anywhere. You just get all the options. Confirming anything into a hard knockdown, and then this mix-up that you get after you practice and get all the setups and stuff ready, and have just tons and tons of setups to work from. That is hell, right there. And I believe if you do the meaty, if you do the meaty cross-up, you can also just, like, raw combo off of that, but you're not likely to hit that since the opponents usually aren't going to be standing up. So you can link that into the hard knockdown as well. But, the other thing about that is I believe that also makes a lot of characters, invincible wake-ups, like EXDPs and stuff. I believe that makes them whiff if you do that meaty. So yeah, this character's really fun. I prefer Trigger 1, but this is also really cool too. So yeah, this character's a blast to play with. He's super good and he's super fun. So, like, what are you waiting for, you cowards? Pick him up. Try him.